We will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. So today we have to continue Sangha's quality. Kinja biso kama karoti papakangayena vacha uddha ceta sawa. Ababa sodasa brichadaya ababa dita padasa huda. Idambi sanghi ratanam panitan etena satchena suvati hotu. Any evil actions he may still do by deeds, words, or thoughts. He is incapable of concealing it, since it has been proclaimed that such concealing is impossible for one who has seen the path of Nibbana. This precious jewel of Sangha, by these aspirations of the truth, may there be happiness. This is also the quality of noble Sangha. So in the very beginning, we just mentioned Kinja Biso Kama Karoti Papakam. Kama, we already know what is called Kama. Kama means actions. Karoti means do or. Here, if singular, we should say does. Papakam, evil. So that means although they have already attained noblehood, noble attainments, but they may have some unwholesome karma. Then they also mention kayena vacha uddha ceta sawa. That means body actions, bhava actions, and mental action. As we have known, we have 3 bodily wrong actions, 4 bhava wrong actions, and 3 mental wrong actions. So a noble person like a Sotapanna may have some wrongdoing, but although they have committed, they have done some mistakes. Like here mentioned, Ababa Sodasa Brichadaya, they will not conceal their mistakes. So there are many different types of morality. Maybe the next one. So there are 2 types of evil actions: loka vacha, common evil deeds such as breaking 5 precepts, maybe social evil. So now in the community, we have many different types of evil deeds, like for example, breaking laws, criminal laws, any criminal laws. Then this is also called loka vacha. It comes from the government. It depends on our country. This is called loka vacha. So mostly, when we talk about loka vacha, it means mostly 5 precepts. Whether the Buddha laid down the rules or not, it's a mistake. It's an offense. Almost all the good people don't accept that kind of wrongdoing. That's why this is called loka vacha. So noble person will never break any of 5 precepts. That means loka vacha, common evil deeds. They will not do anything like that. As we have known, right? 5 body actions. That is loka vacha, common evil deeds. Then we have 4 bhava actions. This is also common evil deeds. If we are cheated, we are unhappy. Similarly, if somebody is cheated, that person will not be happy. This is called empathy. If we don't have empathy or sympathy, we're going to observe precepts. So another person may not have that kind of wrongdoing, that kind of wrong actions. This is very common. Of course, mental action is invisible. We cannot see mental action. Anyway, they may not break loka vacha, common evil deeds, such as bodily wrong actions and bhava wrong actions. Some kind of mental wrong actions, for example, wrong view, they may not have. Although they may have a dosa, but it cannot be bhayapada. Bhayapada means they wish to destroy their life. No, that kind of things will never happen. So there is also some, they may have some defilements, they may have anger, but not so strong. They may have lobha, greed, but not so strong. This is the first part. Panati vaja, regulated evil deeds such as breaking the Buddha's law. This is for bhikkhus. Actually, we have many rules. For example, like cutting the tree. For ordinary people, when they cut the tree or when they remove the grass, no offense. For bhikkhu, we must not do it. This is called panati vacha. And not only that, for example, when we are going to have foods, we have to do some recollections, or the purpose of eating foods, pachavakana, right? So on and so forth. When we are wearing, we have to reflect, so forth. Then briefly, when we are using four requisites, we have to reflect. This is only the Buddha's law. For ordinary people, although they don't reflect, it doesn't matter. Although they wear the clothes for beauty or for the decorations or any other purpose, it doesn't matter. Although they eat foods for strength or for beauty or anything, it doesn't matter. They are lay person. So anyway, the main thing is there will be some rules and regulations laid down by the Buddha. If Buddha didn't lay down in daily life or for common people, it's not mistakes. So if they know it's laid down by the Buddha, no person will avoid it. But sometimes, although they attain Sotapanna, they haven't learned Vinaya yet. Then they can make some mistakes. Even an arhat, right? Then if they don't study Vinaya very well, then they will do some wrong actions, for example, such as like cutting the tree, for example, removing the grass. Not knowing Vinaya rules, they make this kind of mistakes. If somebody pinpoint or point out, oh, this is a mistake, they will confess easily. Loka vacha sikkhavara, they will not do. Sure. For panati vacha, they don't know, they will do. Then when they know this is a mistake, they will confess. That's why they are mentioned apapadaya. Apapadaya means this means impossible, incapable. So it's impossible for them to conceive this kind of mistakes or this kind of weakness if they have made. So sometimes they haven't learned. For example, Sotapanna, I have already said they also have sometimes they also have negligence. No? Due to negligence, they may break some panati vacha sikkhavara laid down by the Buddha. Sometimes they don't know, they break. We can also say like this is called sajitaka abati. Sajitaka means intentionally. If we do intentionally, it's an offense. If we just do it unintentionally, it's not mistake. It's not offense. So that is why they may make this kind of mistake unintentionally or unknowingly, then there will be exception. So when we study Sangha qualities, you may remember one of the words, Ujjupatipanno. This is very, very common. Everybody know this Pali one, Uju Putipano. Buddhism, straightforward. What does it mean, Uju? Actually, I have already explained Sangha quality in Visuddhimagga class. But anyway, I have to review the one. Because many of listeners may be new, right? I have to review now. So when we talk about Uju, there are two things we have to understand. The first one is Maya. In Pali, we just call Maya. Maya means concealing our own faults and offense. This is called Maya. Then, not only that, he may expect gain or some donations from the devotees. So why we hide our mistakes, how we conceal our mistakes, then sure, if we can hide or if we conceal our mistakes, devotee can have more faith, we can have more donations. This is not Uju. So in this case of noble person, they have Uju. We can say sincere or honest. So then they are sincere and honest. We have another Pali word, Sateya. Sateya is actually revealing non-existent quality with the untruth quality. A few days ago, there's some question, right? Because I haven't attained that kind of quality, but my teacher praised me too much or something like that. My Dhamma friend told me I have that kind of quality. Then what should I do? Actually, we must not keep quiet in this kind of case. For example, if I'm cannot follow many rules, so I have to reveal. I must not pretend as if I am very, very strong in morality, you know. So similarly, if I cannot concentrate very well, I should not pretend I have that kind of concentration. For example, if I cannot attain, okay, previously I have already talked about it. I cannot read people's mind, right? The people think, oh, I can read their minds. After I have to reveal. I cannot do it. I don't have that kind of ability. Don't pretend like that. This is called Sateya. It means no Uju. This is dishonest and sincere. So noble person will be sincere. Not only that, you know, there are many cases like that. I think many of people may know Mengon Tipitaka Sayaro. In the sixth council, he is Tipitaka memorizer. He can recite all the Tipitaka, including commentary and sub-commentary. Even now we have many Tipitaka, they are not so strong as Mengon Sayaro. Anyway, Mengon Sayaro is the strongest among Tipitaka. You know, many people also think he's extraordinary. I also believe that he's extraordinary because I cannot do like him, right? He can memorize all the Pali texts, actually more than either 42 or 43 books, I think, right? He can memorize all of them. There's a commentary, sub-commentary, you can imagine. I cannot imagine, right? To memorize this kind of things. He can understand everything. Not only memorizing, understanding everything very much in detail. If there's a contact between two textbooks, he can explain everything smoothly, and people can accept it. Anyway, I have known one time, one devotee, one layman. He came to Mengon Sayaro and say, Sayaro, in my dream, yes, last night I have a dream, you know, in the dream I have to see an arhat. Now I see you. Then are you an arhat? You know, he didn't know anything about Vinaya. He asked these kind of things. Then Sayaro said, no, I'm not an arhat. Then the layman, you know, asking the same thing repeatedly. He also pleads Sayaro, you know, okay, I will not say anybody. It should be top, it will be top secret. Are you arhat? You know, he asked this kind of questions. After that, Sayaro don't answer anymore. He didn't answer. he just take cigar and smoke. Then say, I will never smoke. He just say openly, I will never smoke. So this is the way he answer. That means he's sincere, honest, Ujjapatipanna. Even he's not Sotapanna, right? He's just typical memorizer. So now in the case of Sotapanna, sure, they are noble person. They have already known Nibbana. They know the value of Nibbana. They know the Dhamma is more important than breaking the mistake, right? So that's when they make mistakes, sure, they will follow the Dhamma, they will review their mistakes. Also, almost all the actions, almost all the mistakes also are intentional mistakes. Unknowingly, they have done this kind of mistakes. So, okay, the main thing is they have that kind of mind. We call in Sangha quality, this is the Ujjapatipanna. So I have said two Pali words, Maya and Satya. Okay? So if we concede our mistakes, our offense, this is called Maya. If we reveal and choose attainments and choose quality, this is Satya. By doing so, we can earn a lot of things. For example, by breathing in as an arhat. Sure, many people will come and offer. We can earn a lot. And this is also one thing. Okay, the main thing is, in this sutta, in this stanza, it just mentioned sincerity of a noble person. Okay, we can move next one. The next slides. Okay. Vanapa gombe, yata posi teke, kimana mase, patama seme, game. Tatu bamam damavaran adisi. Nibbana game paramam hidaya. Itambi buddhi ratanam panitam. Etina satena subati hotu. As the woodland grows through in the early heat of the summer months, are crowned with blossoming flowers. Even so, is the sublime Dhamma leading to the comes of Nibbana, which is taught by the Buddha for the highest good. This precious jewel is the Buddha. By this aspirations of the truth, may there be happiness. So here, Vanapa Gombe Yata Positeke, Kimana Masi Patama Samin Kingme. Just give simile. Vanapa Gombe, this is the woodlands or groves. Positeke, that means on the top of the trees, in the branches of the trees, then there is some blossoming flower. So in this, mostly in India or in Myanmar, in summer is totally dry because of very heat, very hot summer. Then almost all the leaves fall, and then it regrow new leaves. Also flowers, fruits. So in Singapore, you can get mango tree any time, right? In Myanmar, we can get mango only in the summer. If we have mango, they have mango fruits. In the now okay, we can say like a winter, right? That's not seasonal fruit. We don't accept as a seasonal fruit. They make some unnatural way, So we know the nature of the tree. Anyway, the main thing is in the summer, there's also leaves, flowers, and fruits. The tree is really very beautiful. For example, you can imagine one tree. There's all three are also greens with the leaves. There's also some part also flower. Do you have a flower? There's some small fruits, for example. That time is the most beautiful time. That's when the Buddha gives this simile. So that the Dhamma is also the same. It's beautiful, like like early summer. So this is what Buddha was to give example. Then after that mention Tatubaman Dhammavara Adisi, the Buddha explains or the Buddha teach the sublime Dhamma. Dhamma Varam. Dhamma Varami, sublime or superior or better. How does he teach or explain? Nirvana Gami Paramahitaya, which lead to Nibbana, or Paramahitaya for the benefits. Okay, maybe the next one. So here Buddha we say Dhamma Vara Atisi. People give Dhamma talk. Many Dhamma talkers give Dhamma talk, right? They also give instructions. Here mentioned for two reasons. The first is lava hetu, due to gain. That means for gain, they give Dhamma talk. Sakara hetu, due to honor. That means we can also say they have special donation, special respect from people. That's why they may give Dhamma talk. So this is not good intentions. When the Buddha delivered discourses, it's not for gain. Although they didn't offer anything, the Buddha also visited the area and gave Dhamma talk. For example, in the case of Angulimala, very, very risky. Angulimala chased the Buddha with the sword. The Buddha gave Dhamma talk. Not for gain, also not for honor. Then this is the way the Buddha, the Papas of giving Dhamma talks. Then we also have to know another thing is that Dhamma Vara Adesi. What's it called Dhamma Vara? We can say sublime Dhamma, right? Also mention which lead to Nibbana. Nibbana kami Paramahitaya, lead to Nibbana. But here I should introduce Desanakama, the order of discourse. Okay, this is one thing. So when we read some stories, sometimes we can find the Buddha gave Dhamma talk. It doesn't mention what kind of topics he gave. It doesn't mention in detail. For example, when we learn Buddha's history, so where the Buddha spent Vasa, some place, although the Buddha spent 2 Vasa, for example, in Jatikahi, the Buddha spent 2 Vasas. So when we find how many sutta was delivered in that place, only 1 sutta to Venerable Megia. Also only 1 stanza in Dhammavara, also 2 Venerable Megia. That's all. Buddha spent 2 Vasas in the place, but only 1 sutta and 1 Dhammavara stanza. It's impossible, Then okay, then we can understand why it happened. Whenever that kind of things happen, we can understand mostly the Buddha just give regular Dhamma talk, formal Dhamma talk. Formal Dhamma talk is called Desanakama, the order of discourse. Now here we can say what's the order of discourse. We can find the same things in many different texts. For your information, when you read the Buddha Vansa, the great canonical of the Buddha, for example, Venerable Yasa, he's a Panka in the Varanasi. When the Buddha was given Dhamma talk to fight bhikkhus, they have attained headship. The Buddha spent Vasa in Mikara, Varanasi, Isipatana. Then at the time, the young man, Yasa, approached the Buddha. The Buddha just teach the regular Dhamma talks. Okay, here I will list out. The first one, Dana Katha, talking about generosity. Also talking about pure generosity and impure generosity. Because the pure donation and impure donation. Also, Buddha also talk about the benefit of donation. Okay, here we should not talk about the benefit too much, right? It can be different. It comes from our mind also. So pure and impure, it comes from our intention. It comes from our minds. What's the purpose of offering? Then the Buddha explains all the pure and impure sharing or offering. So almost all the people have to live in the community by sharing. Sharing doesn't mean you have to come to the monastery offer. It doesn't mean like that. We have to share everything in our daily life. When I talk about Randi Ye Balay, at the time we talk about Bali, right? Nyati, Bali, additive, something like that. Sharing with relatives, sharing with the friends, paying the tax. All the can be considered as dana. It's also sharing. That is why when we understand the dana properly, so in every single activities, every single sharing, we are accumulating kusala. If we know the benefit of our sharing, right? So we also accumulate many kusala. The Buddha talk about dana kata in the very beginning. It's very easy to do for everybody. Even in our daily life, we cannot survive without sharing. This is very common. The Buddha talk about dana kata in the very beginning. After that, sila kata, talking about morality. So the Buddha also explain, so what kind of things are really called morality? Right? What kind of things are really called precepts? We can say like good habits. Then we can also say the benefit of morality. What make morality pure? What make morality impure? The Buddha explain all the things to him. Actually, we have already learned in Visuddhimagga. Okay, now about morality. If I say sila in Pali, that means habit. So when we have good habits, then we can say we are good. When we have bad habits, we are bad. So something our habits is something harmful for other people, something harmful for ourselves. This is called bad habits. If our habits is good for beneficial for ourselves, beneficial for our community, for other people, this is called good habits. This is called morality. Not only that, when we talk about morality, we also have to know responsibilities, duties. They are also called morality. We call charita sila. Now we also have to abstain from many wrongdoings such as killing, stealing, and so forth. This is also called morality. But sometimes, although we abstain from many things, if we don't have any responsibility, that means our morality is very weak, not so strong yet. We also take all our responsibility. We also perform all our duties. Then we also abstain from many wrongdoings. That means our morality is stronger. So the Buddha explained the pure morality, impure morality, and the benefit of morality in detail. So compared to dana, sila is more difficult. In the case of dana, if we have property, we can share. In the case of sila, not only property, we also use our body. So not to kill, we have to train our body. Not to speak, we have to train our body. Similarly, to perform our duties, we have to use our body. We have to use our mouth. We also have to use our minds. This is called morality. So anyway, the Buddha explained sila kata, the second steps, is more difficult than dana. Another one is sakha kata, talking about divine pleasure. So when we have dana and sila, we can also enjoy divine pleasure in the next existence. So this is also one of the benefit of dana sila. Also, compared to human life, sure, divine pleasure is better. Right? If we are going to enjoy sensual pleasure, we have to prepare many different things, right? In Devarams, ready-made. For food, they don't need to cook. Just go and take divine nutriment. For wearing also, they don't need to sue, they don't need to go to the market to buy something. No, they don't need. Just take and wear. Karma produce properties. The power of karma produce everything for them. So, compared to human life, divine life is a little bit better. So the Buddha talk about Sakakata. After that, the Buddha also talk about Kamana Arinavakata, talking about the faults of sensual pleasure. So previous stage, the Buddha talk about divine sensual pleasure. After that, the Buddha also say, no, faults of sensual pleasure. So that means it's not recommendable to be deep in the Deva realms. And the Buddha said that kind of things. Actually, there are many simile of faults of sensual pleasure. Even we can find, I think, 11 similes mentioned in the text. It's too much. Okay, now, if I give one simile, all the sensual pleasure are like a dream. Sometime in the dream, we are worthy. We have everything we like, right? All the jewelries, all the houses, all the vehicles, attendants, companions, friends, everything we have obtained in our dream. We are very happy in the dream, you know. When we wake up, everything has gone. We are alone. Similarly, all the sensual pleasure are just temporary, like in the dream. When we wake up, no more. We are alone all the time. This is the one simile. So the Buddha also talk about the force of sensual pleasure. We have many other sensual pleasure, right? Then another one is like a poisonous fruit. Poisonous fruits. Okay, not only poisonous fruit. See, that fruit is good looking. It looks delicious. Also, nobody pluck. So in the tree, it's very beautiful. It will be, for example, it look like mango tree, for example. Also good color, good smell. When we go and take and eat it, when we pluck and take it, eat it, we will die. This is poisonous fruit. Similarly, all the sensual pleasure look better, right? It look good, but it's also poison. We have to suffer a long time. If we make some mistake, we have to suffer whole life sometimes. It's really very risky. Sometimes because of wrongdoing, whole life, no, they cannot come into public. They will hide whole life, just making some mistake for sensual enjoyment. Okay, anyway, the Buddha also talk about the force of sensual pleasure in many different ways. Then, finally, the Buddha also say, Nikkama Nisansakata, talking about renunciation, talking about the benefit of renunciation. So when we can give up sensual pleasure, we can release from any suffering. The Buddha explained all these things orally. This is called Desanakama, the aura of discourse. So whenever we cannot find special Dhamma talk in some special area, okay, the practical I have already said in Jalika Hill, the Buddha spent 2 verses. we can find only one sutta and one stanza. They may misunderstand. The Buddha didn't give any Dhamma talk. Just resting there 2 years. Right? See, there will be devotees. When they come, the Buddha will give Dhamma talks. It's just regular Dhamma talk, formal Dhamma talk. Maybe it's this one. After that, by talking about all these things, the mind become a little bit lighter, or more flexible, happiness, rejoice. Then also, after listening to this kind of discourse, then we can subside hindrances. When I become very flexible and calm down and pure, the Buddha explained over Eightfold Paths. They can attain path and fruition knowledge like that. In the case of Venerable Yasa, when he came to see the Buddha explained all these things. After that, Four Noble Truths, he attained Sotapanna. His father came. The Buddha gives the same order. He can attain Sotapanna, but Venerable Yasa attained Arhatship. So that means Buddha have many different Dhamma talks to many different people. Dhamma Vara Adesi, that means that is a really profound Dhamma, superior Dhamma. All the Dhamma come from his compassion toward living beings. Sometimes ordinary Dhamma talkers may expect gain and fame and also many other things. As we say, honor, there are many other things they may expect. When the Buddha gave Dhamma talk, no such expectation. All the Dhamma talk come from his great compassion and also from his wisdom. He will use all his wisdom for the listeners. So he also know by doing so, they can release from suffering. If they can attain hardship, or if they can attain Sotapanna, they become normal, they have less unwholesome. Also, their lives, it will be better. The Buddha trying to help people in this way. Compassion and wisdom. So all the Dhamma come from compassion and wisdom. So this stanza indicates the Priyati Dhamma. Yeah, I also say Priyati Dhamma, right? So again, when we talk about Priyati Dhamma, this is actually Tipitaka. We can give Dhamma talk. Now I'm giving Dhamma talk, Ratanasutta. This is from Khuddaka Nikaya. Khuddha Patha. Actually, given Dhamma talk is actually Priyati. So Priyati is only meditation. Similarly, given lecture, this is also Priyati. Learning also Priyati. Now you are also listening, this is also Priyati actually. So this stanza just talk about the Priyati Dhamma, the quality of Priyati Dhamma. Okay? So the Buddha's teaching is also very beautiful, like the first part of the first month of summer. It fully blooms. Okay? So we can move to the next one. Varo, Varanyu, Varado, Varaharo, Anuttaro, Dhamma Vara Adesi. Idambi Bodhi Ratanam Banitan, Idina Satina Suvati Hotu. The peerless excellence one, the Buddha, the knower of Nibbana, the giver of Nibbana, the bringer of the noble path, taught the excellent Dhamma. This precious jewel of the Buddha, and this aspiration of the truth, may there be happiness. So here we have to approach what for what. Varo, one thing. Varo means excellent or peerless. Okay, next page, okay, no problem. Varo. So compared to other people, the Buddha is excellence, peerless. We have already said, in this world, nobody can observe precept like the Buddha. Buddha's morality is the strongest. The concentration The Buddha concentration is the strongest. Similarly, wisdom. The Buddha wisdom is the strongest. Then nobody can observe precept like the Buddha. Nobody can concentrate like the Buddha. Nobody can be wise like a Buddha. This is called peerless. This is called Vara. Vara knew. That means Vara is also superior. Both are just know superior one, Nibbana. Other here, Vara door, the giver of Nibbana. Then how the Buddha give Nibbana? Right? For example, when we are going to pass some properties, sure we can give to other people's hand. But in the case of Nibbana, we cannot give like this. It depends on the receivers. There will be different types of giving. So the Buddha gives the instruction with two purposes. Two purposes. One, Nibbeda Bhagya, conducive to penetration. Okay, we have to talk about practical way in this case. For example, Venerable Sariputta and Venerable Mahamoggallana. The Buddha also give Dhamma talk to them, give instructions. So at the end of Dikkanaka Sutta, Venerable Sariputta attained arhatship. That means it takes 2 weeks after his Sotapanna, after his ordination. Then Venerable Mahamoggallana, it took 1 week after his Sotapanna, after his ordination. And again, in the case of Venerable Mahamoggallana, at the time he was drowsing in the forest. The Buddha visited, and also the Buddha explained how to overcome drowsiness. He could practice, he could attain arhatship. So sometimes the Buddha teaches his disciple to penetrate or to realize Nibbana. Of course, they have very strong parami, very powerful parami. For example, even Angulimala, he has very strong parami. The Buddha just went to see him, give Dhamma talk, he get in Sotapanna, finally he practices, he also attained arhatship. This is called Nibbeda Bhagya. For this purpose, the Buddha teaches his disciple. 2, Vasana Bhagya, conducive to habit. So sometimes for some special people, the Buddha also knew it is impossible for them to attain arhatship or to attain Nibbana or to realize to achieve any of inside knowledge. The Buddha still give Dhamma talk. For example, Ajatasattu. So Ajatasattu had to kill his father. After that, he regret for it. He could not sleep well. Then he asked the physician, Jivaka, for help. Then he visited the Buddha and listened very long discourse. He also asked some question to the Buddha. The Buddha explained Samnya Phala Sutta, very long discourse. The Buddha knew Ajatasattu cannot attain any path and fruition knowledge. Just for his better life, for good habits. Actually, okay, now related to that one, I remember one question. Many times people ask me this question. Even in Visuddhimagga class 1, Yogi also asked me this question. That is, why the Buddha didn't have Ajatasattu before killing his father? Why did the Buddha have Angulimala before killing his mother? That means no compassion to Ajatasattu. They have that kind of question. Ajatasattu is not very polite since he was a very little boy. When we check all his childhoods, For example, one day his father visited Jodika's house. Actually, this very rich man, all his house is, jewelry. Even the wall is made of ruby. Then when seeing all the things, he thought, oh, my father is very, very silly. He has to live in the wooden palace. If I become the king, I will take over all this property. He has this kind of mind, When he grew up, he became the king. One day, he met Jodika in the monastery. After that, he was Bodhisattva already. Ajatasattu is a very strong man. Then he also revealed all his childhood idea, how hard he had thought when he came to his house. Then Jodika say, you cannot take it. This is the mind karma. You cannot take it. Although you are the king, you are not so powerful to take my properties. Then he just gives trial. Okay, now take my finger ring. I disagree to give you. It's very strong. When he going to take out, cannot. Even very strong man, very strong man, the king, cannot get his ring. Then Jodika say, if I wish to give, nobody can take my properties. This is my karma. This is my karmic power. Then also say, now I will give you. Just try to accept what you are, like we can say, like clothes, Then he just lay his clothes. Jodika just keep his finger down, or the ring go down. He openly talked to him. If I want to give, I can give easily. If I want to give, nobody take my properties. So anyway, the main thing is he has that kind of boy since he was a very little child, very bad. He tried to misuse his power. When he grew older, when he was a teenager, it was bad association. Actually, both have bad association. Angulimala also have bad association. His teacher has a very bad, that's why he became the murderer. So another thing is reasoning. Actually, Angulimala is a very kind man when he was a boy. So well educated. That's why, thanks to his teacher, he was to give everything to his teacher. That's why he became a murderer. So we have different karma, different background. That's why it's impossible to have Ajatasattu, right? Because of his very, very bad boy since he was shy. But anyway, the Buddha also gave Dhamma, very long discourse, very long Dhamma talk to Ajatasattu. Enough for Nibbana. The Buddha knew he cannot attain Nibbana in this very life, but just for better life. He can release from his nightmare. Every night he cannot sleep well, screaming, come out of his chamber. His body is very heaty. After listening, he can overcome all these problems. He can solve all these problems. He can calm down his mind. And not only that, Satchaka Pribhajaka from Vesali. The Buddha explains very long discourse, 2 long discourse in Majjhima Nikaya. Chula Satchaka Sutta and Mahasatchaka Sutta, 2 suttas. Although the Buddha delivered 2 long discourses, even he didn't say, please accept me as your disciple. He didn't say, I take refuge. He's so arrogant. But he liked the theory of anatta taught by the Buddha. In his mind, he liked this one. Because he's so arrogant, he don't wish to say openly. The Buddha knew it. That's why the Buddha gave very long instructions, just for better life. Although he cannot attain any noblehood now, in the future, he will be an arhat. The Buddha knew, that's why just give that kind of Dhamma talk. This is called What at all? Giving, the giver of Nibbana. So that means Buddha cannot give immediately sometimes. It depends on their conditions. Right? Sometimes they can penetrate Nibbana immediately, like Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Mamoggallana, or many other disciples. There are also some devotees, they cannot attain Nibbana in this very life. In the future, they can attain Nibbana. Anyway, they have better lifetimes. That's why Vasana Bhagiya. What at all, right? Anuttara. Anuttara means superior, incomparable. Dhammavara Artisi, or the superior Dhamma, sublime Dhamma. What also explains sublime Dhamma. So, I always say sublime Dhamma, right? It means if it is sublime Dhamma or noble Dhamma, so it must be Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Paths. So, Nibbana Gamin Paramahitaya. So, by listening or by practicing, then they can go to Nibbana. All the Dhammas or noble Dhamma that lead to Nibbana. So, when we listen to the Buddha, we can also find the hint of Four Noble Truth in the suttas sometimes. Sometimes it will say very high quality, like Vipassana or something like that. We have to find the hint in the suttas. We can guess the conditions of listener. Anyway, another one is Paramahitaya. Parama means the highest, Hidaya means benefit. For the higher benefit. As we have known different types of speech of the Buddha, although we have many different types of speech in our daily life, for example, sometimes untruths, unbeneficial, also undesirable topic. This is the thing we should not say. Sometimes it's the truth, but unbeneficial, also undesirable, we should not say. Sometimes it's the untruth, but beneficial, also undesirable, we have to consider, we should not say. Okay, briefly, the Buddha say only two things. Is it beneficial, truth, and also desirable for the listeners? The Buddha will speak timely. It doesn't mean all the time, timely. When the time ripens, the Buddha will speak. So it's desirable, truth, and unbeneficial. They will also speak timely. So we can understand what Buddha wish, how the Buddha speak. When we talk about Sukha talk, I have already explained all these things. Anyway, Dhammavara Adisiyi, that means the Buddha explains all the Dhamma, the noble Dhamma or supreme Dhamma. Paramahitaya, the highest benefits. So that means the Buddha will speak when it's beneficial. If unbeneficial, the Buddha will never speak. Actually, this one is also the quality of Buddha. Idami Buddha Ratana Panita, Idana Sajjana Suvati Hotu, right? This is also Buddha's quality, the nature of the Buddha. So, today we have already finished up to Vara Varenyu. We have one more stanza, four more stanzas. After that, I have to continue the introductions of Ratanasutta according to Myanmar traditions and skip that part. Okay? In Myanmar tradition, we start from Patidhanadopatthaya in our daily chants and skip that part. So we have to continue in the afternoon. Okay, so far we have already studied the quality of the Buddha, the qualities of the Dhamma, the qualities of Noble Sangha. So, as we have mentioned before, we have Vajjisattva. Then by telling the truth, we can determine to become something. This is called Vajjisattva. All these stanza, all these quality are useful for Vajjisattva. Here we just use aspirations of truth, right? So that means anyway, when we have that kind of determinations, Now we must have some special quality. Now we use Buddha's quality, Dhamma's quality, Sangha's quality to bring happiness in the community. This is the power of telling the truth. So we have one saying traditionally, if people have satya, that means we must be truthful, right? If people have satya, if people are truthful, then all the trees, plants are medicine. If we are not truthful, all the trees, plants can be poison. Now we can see practically, right? When the chemical spoil, it becomes poison. So similarly, if we have truthfulness, this means we must tell the truth. So what kind of truthfulness? For example, when we see, we have to say, I have seen. Just telling the truth. After seeing, we say, I don't see. This is untruth. Right? Similarly, unseen as a seen. Opposite. This is not truth. If we have never seen, we have to say, I have never seen. This is the truth. So similarly, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, feeling. We have to reveal as we experience. That's called truthfulness. If we change opposite directions, it's untruthfulness. So now we are not using plants or tree as a medicine to bring happiness. We are using the quality of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha to bring happiness. Okay? So as I have recommended before, if we can make a shrine room in our hearts, then it will bring happiness. It will take time, but possibility. Okay? So the Buddha guides us to train our minds, to train our body actions and body actions. When we have all the trainings, we can improve ourselves. So finally, if we can practice very well, then we can also attain noblehood. Okay, so as conclusion, may you all be able to practice the 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering. Okay?
The second part of the question, the past Buddha has been giving prophecy to the future Buddha, those who will become Buddha in the future. Also prophecy to become Pacceka Buddha and Agga Sawaka. So, but at the same time, Buddha says, Sabbe Sankhara Anicca. So would these 2 sayings contradict to each other?
I see. Okay, this is a continuation of yesterday, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yesterday question.
Slideshow, okay. So we answer already. Okay, now you can read out, right? These are the thoughts. It will take too long, maybe 1 Dhamma talk, maybe equal to 1 Dhamma talk, right? Okay, anyway, the 8 conditions the Buddha never used ultimate truth. We can find in Anguttara Nikaya commentary, book 1, page 74. So here I am also used in Pali, Hirutapa Dipanatang, to explain the moral shame and moral fear. So that means moral shame and moral fear also come from respect. So we have to respect ourselves, we have to respect other people. If there's no self, only Nama Rupa, we cannot say I or you or anything, right? So when we talk about Hiri-Uttapa, so that means if we don't have Hiri-Uttapa, we will be like animal, no respect to the era people, no respect to parents, no respect to grandparents, no respect to aunt, uncle, like this. When the Buddha talk about Hiri-Uttapa, the Buddha will never use 4 Noble Truths, or never use Namarupas, or 5 Vigades, or Anicca Dukkha Anatta. This is one thing. 2, Kama Sakata Dipanatang, to explain karma ownership. Right? So when we talk about karma ownership, you already know. For example, in the Charaka story, previously he has done this kind of karma, that's why he has encountered this kind of difficulty. He has accumulated this kind of kusala karma, that's why he has enjoyed this kind of happiness. The Buddha will say that kind of things. In the past, already anicca, right? There's a karma ownership. We cannot say anicca dukkha anatta. We cannot say nama rupas. We cannot say five aggregates. No, we don't talk about four noble truths in this case. Okay, now in the case of your questions, we can understand this one. According to their karma, their ability to become that kind of noble persons, Buddha or Pachika Buddha. So Buddha has anakatan sanyana to see the future. When he gets definite prophecy, then he will check his past existences. For example, Dipankara Buddha get definite prophecy to Karma Buddha. He will check his past conditions, whether he has really accumulated parami or not in the past. When seeing that, Buddha also can see in the future, then give definite prophecy. Is there karmic fox? The Buddha knows the karmic fox. That's why he dare say, you will become Buddha after how many years ago, how many kapas ago, something like that. After how many kapas later, like that, right? This is one thing. Another is the Pachata Bodhisa Kara Dipanata, to explain the actions of individual man. So we all have individual actions. Okay, for example, you may build a house with the wood, for example. You will cut your woods and everything. Then if somebody asks, who built this house? We don't say it's built by Namarupa, right? We might say, oh, they may ask, who is the constructor? Who is the engineer? We have to say engineer's name. We have to name constructor's name. We don't say Namarupa. If we say Namarupa, we are silly, you know? No, we're going to communicate anymore. This is the individual actions of people. The Anandika Dipanatam to explain mighty karma. So if we talk about Namarupa, no parents, only Namarupa, how can I do mighty karma? Right? This is mighty karma. We don't talk, Buddha never talk about anicca, dukkha, anatta, or Namarupas or five aggregates. The another one, Brahma Vihara Dipanatam, to explain four sublime abidance. I also have heard this kind of answer from Power Theology, either 2006. I don't know who asked me this, who asked this question. I know some foreigner asked this question, maybe similar question, maybe. Then Power Theology answer about metta, right? When we radiate metta, do we radiate metta? May I be free from danger, or may Namarupa be free from danger? Right? Actually, we just radiate metta to ourselves. May I be free from danger. May all living beings be free from danger. That means when we are going to radiate metta, we must take living beings as objects, not Namarupa. When we are going to radiate compassion to our living beings, it must be living beings, suffering beings, not Namarupa. Similarly, sympathetic joy, equanimity. We have to take living beings as objects. We have to radiate all the sublime abidance, metta, karuna, mudita, ubekha. So when we talk about metta, karuna, mudita, it's not Namarupas. No anicca, dukkha, anatta. Another one, Pobe Nivasa Dipanatam. Actually, Pobe means past or previous. Nivasa means living. So that means to explain the past existences, past lives. When the Buddha talk about past lives, it's just in the past life he has been born as a farmer, as a Brahmin. You know, Buddha just use conventional truth. Buddha never talk about ultimate truth. No anicca, dukkha, no Namarupa like that. Another one is Dakiniya Visuddhi Dipanatam, to explain the purity of offering. Okay, for example, we may offer a handkerchief, for example. Okay, handkerchief. When some bhikkhu is needed, sneezy, he is needed, he needs a handkerchief, you offer handkerchief. Then this is means donor is you, the donation is a handkerchief, receiver is a bhikkhu. We don't say Namarupa offer Uddhacca rupas to Namarupas. We cannot say like that, right? If like this, we cannot communicate in the worldly activities. Similar thing, you know. I also have tell many times about it. Have explained many times the same things. One of the Paul Siara Dhamma friends, he's called Dhammadutta Siara. He's also vegetarian. Now, one of his donors from the city came to his monastery, his forest monastery. Whenever he came, he just bring pork, you know, pork curry, and he offered all his disciples. Sarah is a vegetarian, but this devotee is also very close to him. He cannot control that devotee also. Then when he came to see him after offering all the things in the kitchen or in the almsgiving hall, he came to see Sarah. Then says that the Dhammadutta Sarah asked, "Today, which kind of food did you offer?" Then he replied, "I just offer 4 elements." You know, as you say, the 4 elements, right? I just offer 4 elements. And Sarah put counter questions. Okay, when you go to the market, do you ask, "Please give me pork," or "Please give me 4 elements"? No, he said like that. Then the devotee have to answer, "Oh, at the time I have to say pork, I cannot say 4 elements. When I come to see you, I can say 4 elements." Right? Okay, that means we must know in which case we must use Namarupas. In which case we must not use Namarupa. This is also really, very important. If we don't know this kind of situations, it will be very messy. Right? Okay, another one, Loka Samutiya Apahanatam. Not to leave the conventional truth aside. That means not to neglect conventional truth. If people say a microphone, right? We should not say Uddhacca rupas. If I say Uddhacca, there are many Uddhacca rupas. We have to name differently, otherwise people cannot understand. In the communication, we have to use conventional truth. So, even yesterday, related to that question, I have already answered. You know, when we talk about sila, morality, for example, also karma ownership, you know. When we talk about morality, we should not talk about nama-rupa. For example, killing living beings. It doesn't say killing nama-rupas. Say living beings. So another thing we have to know, in Buddha teaching, we have 2 different types of teachings. One is Paramatha Dhamma, Paramatha Desana. Another is Samudhi Desana. So these are Samudhi Desana. All these 8 are Samudhi Desana. Only conventional truths. No ultimate truth. Another one is Nayatha Desana, Nidatha Desana. Sometimes we have to understand directly as said by the Buddha. For example, when the Buddha said living beings, we have to understand as living beings. Don't think about Namarupa. We have to understand exactly as the Buddha said. Sometimes we have to understand indirect meaning. We have to reveal and direct meaning. For example, now, practically when we study Ratanasutta in the previous stanza, right? Okay, Waro, Warinyu, Warado, Warharo, Anutaro, for example, this stanza, Waro, peerless, or excellent. This is the quality. This is a nama. We cannot say this is a, right? We cannot say that is a rupa or anything. Directly, Waro, Waranyu, the one who knows Nibbana. It became the person, the Buddha. Waraharo, the one who brings superior Nibbana. Right? Warado, the one who gives Nibbana. It refers to the Buddha, the giver Buddha. And then we have to see as a Buddha. Don't think about Namarupa. Okay, so we have to understand, as mentioned in the text sometimes we have to know a hidden meaning. For example, Wara is just say excellence. We're going to see excellency, right? What is excellence? It's only the quality. It's ultimate truth. So that means later when you read the books, be careful, right? Otherwise, it will be very messy. As I have explained yesterday, right? I don't key just the earth element go into earth element. For example, like knife is also earth element, right? The body is also 4 elements. Earth element go into 4 elements. So we can also say 4 elements go into 4 elements. It's not killing, right? That means we are allowed to kill living beings according to Buddha's teaching, according to Abhidhamma, right? So sometimes we cannot get the main point if we misunderstand the Buddha's teaching. Okay, next one.
Question 1 for today's lesson. Dear Sayadaw, verse 12 mentioned one who has seen the path is incapable of concealing any evil action. Here, incapable of concealing means they will not commit or they will disclose or confess if they had made any evil action.
Okay, so they may not make mistakes intentionally. This is one thing, right? Sometimes unknowingly or intentionally they may make mistakes. If they make mistakes, they will easily confess. We can say like that. Okay, next one.
Question 2. Dear Sayadaw, for example, in time of danger, can we say the power of truth like the Ratanasutta to make protection? Could Sayadaw suggest some proper and suitable ways?
Actually, we have already explained many things about chanting Parita. It depends on our intention or our mind power. It will be effective, right? For example, Ratanasutta is actually telling the truth, the power of the truth, right? But it depends on our skill. So I have already mentioned grammatically, it must be correct. We have to be like clear pronunciation, clear punctuation. This is the one thing. That's why we must understand the meaning, right? Also, we must have compassion to the listeners. So finally, we must not expect any gain from the listeners. Then it will be effective. Similarly, from the listener side, it depends. Okay, I also have explain some conditions in the very beginning of Metta Sutta. Okay, and this one.
Dear Sayadaw, Buddha and Arahant after Parinibbana, would they still have sensation? Would they still know what happened in the universe? For example, now we are listening to Pandit Dhamma talk. Would those Buddha and Arahant who has entered Nibbana knows?
What does it mean?
Means after the Buddha and Arahant enter into Parinibbana,
I see.
do they still have sensation? Would they know what happened in the universe? For example, we are listening to Pandit Dhamma talk. Would they know we are listening?
Dukkha. The next stanza I will explain the one. Coming stanza I will Kinam Buddha now will explain the one. Okay? Kinam Buddha, one at least we have the parts. It will mention all these things. Okay. Here we have to introduce a little bit more. When we say Parinibbana, that means there's no more nama, no more rupa. When we say feeling or knowing, this is the nama. That is why it's impossible. Okay, they cannot know that Buddha cannot know I'm given Dhamma. Right? Interpreting already. Venerable Buddha cannot know my Dhamma. Interpreting Nirvana already. They cannot listen. They cannot hear. They cannot feel anything. Okay? Next one.
Question 4. Dear Sayadaw, as a Buddhist and meditator, what would be the good attitude of learning so that we can lead a more beneficial life? Could Sayadaw please guide us?
Okay. Actually, when we study the text, we also have like 3 types of learning. Alat Katupama, Nisarana, Dhammabana, Karika, and something like that. Okay, here the very, very terrible landing sign is alakatupama, like catching snakes. So you may know catching snakes. Snakes are a little long creature, right? If we hold in the middle, the head can turn and bite our hands, that also can hit our hands. If we hold on the head, that also can hit our hand. If we hold on the tail, that also can turn and bite our hand. That is called alakatupama, which is dangerous landing style. You know, sometimes people have this kind of problem, you know. They just hold some part from the Buddha's teaching. They strongly hold it. They're trying to criticize many other things, you know, biting by head or hit by tail. Very harmful life. Sometimes they just one part on the very beginning, for example, right? One part at the end, one part in the middle. They don't study thoroughly. They also have bad intention. For example, okay, practically, we have one Vinaya rules about Venerable Arita. Actually, he has learned actually very good learning and many other things, right? But he has not proper learning in Vinaya. As a previous question, you know, about Namarupa, we don't think about Namarupa like this. Similar idea, you know. Or I know some special idea of Buddha's teaching. For example, if we enjoy, as a bhikkhu, if we enjoy sensual pleasure wisely, and no offense. Here's this kind of misunderstanding. Then he also produces this kind. He also teach this kind of dhamma to many of his followers. Finally, the Buddha have to handle the case. So that means he could not understand the Buddha teaching fully, just here and there. Some part of teaching, okay, but not fully learning. He is expert in Vidhamma, not expert in Vinaya. He didn't know 3 different situations. Many times also reminds many of devotees, when you are talking about Vinaya, don't think about Namarupa. This is incorrect. This is the Vinaya. Don't think about Anicca Dukkha Anatta. Don't talk about, right, 5 aggregates or divine origination. This is the Vinaya. We call Anadesana. The Buddha just used his authority to lay down all these rules. It's not Namarupa. So when we are learning Vidhamma, okay, we can talk about Namarupas. We can talk about Anicca Dukkha Anatta. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is Vidhamma. So when we are learning Sutta, we have to also consider what kind of Sutta it is. What is the main point? Is the ultimate truth or conventional truth? Direct meaning or indirect meaning? We have to check everything in detail, right? Sometimes if we learn with wrong intentions, for example, like to complain, to criticize, or to make ourselves popular, right? To be influential, something like this. Sometimes just for gain, right? For earning. Then they learn. After that, they will distribute wrong dhamma for earning. Okay, the main thing is if we have, like if we spoil the Buddha's teaching, it's not very beneficial. We just learn for practicing, not for complaining, not for criticizing. It's okay. It will be more beneficial. Okay, if we have learned all the Tipitaka thoroughly, if we can know all the texts thoroughly, sure, you will not ask this kind of question anymore. You will know more in detail, right? Now in modern community, they learn here and there. They know many pieces of teaching, not full version. Then they have many different wrong idea. Very messy and also very risky, very dangerous also. Okay? Next one.
Question 5. Dear Sayadaw, should all Dhamma teachers, Dhamma servers, Buddhist disciples emulate the Buddha to serve the sasana out of wisdom and compassion?
Of course, if you can emulate, it's the best. Sure, compared to Buddha, we are just kids. Not kids, not yet born. Right? Only in the mother's womb. So we cannot compare like that, right? We can actually almost impossible to emulate the Buddha. But we must follow some of the Buddha footsteps as much as we can. We can say like that, right? Because we have defilements. Our mind is not so pure as Buddha. Okay, if somebody have very strong compassion and very strong wisdom, sure, we can help more people. Okay.
Question 6. Dear Sayadaw, I heard from one teacher to become a Buddha other than getting a definite prophecy from a living Buddha. A person needs to have this aspiration in his mind for a long period of time. And he needs to say out his aspiration for a long period of time.
Sure.
Before he get a definite prophecy from a living Buddha. Is this true?
Yeah, it's the truth. Okay, one more thing, here, okay, I have to clarify that one. Okay, we should talk about Sumita, right? When he receives definite prophecy, he has very strong parami already. Already, if he wish to be an arhat, he can attain arhatship in the very spot. He has this kind of parami. So that means before he receives definite prophecy, he has fulfilled paramis strong enough to attain arhatship. Okay, that's why it's the truth. Next one.
Question 7. Dear Sayadaw, I always reflect myself and I understand some of my good and bad habits, but it seems like it is not easy to change some of my bad habits. When stronger conditions arise, my bad habit may arise uncontrollably sometimes, but if I am mindful, I can stop it. Could Sayadaw teach me some good ways to change my bad habit gradually and efficiently?
I don't know what kind of bad habit, so I cannot say exactly, right? Okay, it depends on what kind of bad habit you have. There are different guidelines from the many different textbooks, right? For example, like a short temper, anger. Actually, I have already explained 11 ways of overcoming anger according to Visuddhimagga. When we have like a very strong lobha, for example, right? There are different ways. It depends on what kind of bad habit. There will be different solutions. Okay. Next one.
Vandami Sayadaw, 请问一下了。Yes, why Sayadaw says cutting the grass is against the Vinaya? Then how about cutting trees? Would that commit offense in the Vinaya?
Good question, right? If I say small thing, big ones are more serious. According to the law, okay, like in Singapore, you can cut grass. If you go to the forest cut tree, you will be punished, right? So that means every country wasn't like a Western country, like Europe. I have been to Latvia. If you cut big trees, you have to plant one tree. If you cut one tree, you have to plant one tree like that, right? So anyway, if we say grass, sure, big tree is already there, right? It's unallowable, very clear. Even small things are not allowed. Big things, sure, is not allowable. Okay? So that means similarly, don't kill even insects. That means we must not kill human beings.
Question 9. Dear Sayadaw, please Sayadaw advise, is it true have another Buddha before Buddha Dipankara?
Yeah, is a truth. Second
question, what we say for the Buddha name for the Buddha before Buddha Dipankara?
I don't remember. Maybe Tanankara, Mirankara, Dipana, and the 3 Buddhas like that. I'm not sure. Okay.
Okay. The third is how my mind to write understanding according to Sanskrit text.
I don't know. I don't know Sanskrit text. Right?
Okay. Fourth, please Sayadaw give example again to correct way to use Nama Rupa contemplation in daily life.
Actually, I don't know your meditation, right? That's why I cannot teach that kind of things here. If you have learned meditation properly, or if you have right concentration, like a jhanas or asset concentrations, then we have 4-element discernment, brief or in detail. We also have Namarupa discernment. Our brother, we can also practice in daily life. Okay.
Okay, question 10. Dear Sayadaw, Vandami Sayadaw, in one of the Dharma talk on the retreat, Sayadaw said that we have to apply attention to meditation object, not thinking of the meditation object.
Mhm.
Before hearing that Dharma talk, when I practiced meditation and had a lot of wandering thought, sometimes I actively thought about the breath, and it also helped to overcome that wandering problem. Can Sayadaw explain more about this, please?
Actually, there's some question about it. Maybe they talk about applying thoughts, you know? If we apply thoughts, this is also like similar to wandering thoughts. One question asked me this question, I think that's why I said that one. So Vitakka, people say, Vitakka means thoughts, you know, thinking. Actually, it doesn't mean we have to think something. We have to know the objects. That means directing our mind to the objects. I think this is definitions of Vitakka. Okay? When you are really meditating, don't think about Vitakka or Vichara or applying thought or anything. Try to know the breathing. Very simple. Okay? Next one.
Second part, when practicing Anapanasati, when we say continuously maintain knowing the breath for 1 hour, does it mean no wandering thought arise during that period, or some wandering thought arise and we are aware of that and come back to the breath is acceptable?
Actually, it means no wandering thoughts during those periods. When your mind and breath become very harmonious, and also you will know the breath naturally, automatically. Although you need to think about something, your mind will not go. When you experience that kind of things, then you become stronger. Okay?
Question 11, Dear Sayadaw, Vandami Sayadaw, can Sayadaw give me advice? When I practice Anapanasati meditation, many times I cannot feel my breath in and out under my nose, upper lips. What should I do?
Okay. So, I don't know your health conditions or many other things, but the main thing is as long as you are healthy, you have breathing. If you have difficulty, mostly I recommend to open your eyes, trying to know the breathing. When you can know the breath, you can slightly close the eyes, keep knowing the breath. Then you can close your eyes totally, keep knowing the breath. So upper lips or nose, this is only touching points, right? In the very beginning, you can also know touching points. You can also know in our breath, but gradually, when your breath becomes very subtle or when you become skillful, although you don't know the touching point, you can know the breathing. It depends on the situation. Your mind should be flexible. Okay?
Question 12. Dear Sayadaw, when practicing Anapanasati, when we cannot feel the subtle breath, should we wait at the obvious touching place for the breath to appear, or pay attention on the concept of breath, the breath before it disappears?
Actually, when your breath disappears or when your breath becomes very subtle, I recommend to wait on the touching point. It will reappear. That one is more reasonable. Concept breath that disappear, actually, this is some messy, you know? So it must not be past object or anything. It must be practical in the present. Okay? Next one.
Vandami Sayadaw, how to attain Nibbana quickly and be free from the samsara?
Okay. How to become a billionaire within 1 hour? If you can give me this kind of answer, I can give you the answer. Right? To become a billionaire, no shortcut, right? This is only worldly activities. To enjoy sensual pleasure. To cut all the samsara and suffering, we don't have shortcuts. Okay?
Vandami Sayadaw, 请问弟子过去以为 in the past he thought that in the Paramattha Dhamma, all the person, all the people and things are just nama rupa and always arising and perishing only. So in daily life, she used to think that Nibbana is the most important and most ultimate. After today's talks, he understands the meaning that if we are not practicing nama rupa, we should stay at the samuti satcha level to follow the instructions of the Buddha.
Okay.
So does that mean that if we are living in the daily life, we should not practice nama rupa. We should stay at the level of samuti satcha to follow the Buddha's instructions.
Okay, don't understand one more thing, right? It doesn't mean you must not practice nama rupa. Right? Daily communication, don't use nama rupa. One more thing, misusing the words nama rupa. Okay? So sometimes, you know, okay, practically in Myanmar, we have some cases. For example, some driver, then they are negligent, or they will look around here and there, and they are kind of rush into the tree, run into the tree, and crash, spoil, destroying their car by themselves. After that, when they want to console themselves, oh, this is a rising aberration. It's not rising aberration. This is negligence, not rising aberration. This is a false mistakes, right? So sometimes, to console ourselves, we just give excuse by using Buddha's words. So someone, when we went to break Vinaya, oh, nama rupas, only rising aberration. Don't say like that. This is a false. This is the mistakes. Okay? So it doesn't mean you must not practice nama rupas. Don't say nama rupas whenever you encounter some difficulties or you have done mistakes. Okay?
Dear Sadhu, why Buddha's name no have explanation in the Great Chronicle of Buddhas?
Actually, we have all these names in Great Chronicle of Buddha. Before Tibetan Buddha, so and the true Buddha, I think. I'm not sure. Tibetan, after that, something like that. Similar name. You can find in the Chronicle of the Buddha, sure. Okay, next one.
First question. When the breath becomes subtle, we cannot feel the breath. After a while, the mind becomes unconscious. How to settle this problem? So this is the first question.
Unconscious.
Means the conscious is, unconscious. Means cannot know the object, I think.
I see. Actually, we can understand when you have very weak mental efforts, it can happen like that. So you need more consistent efforts, especially when you have more continuous applying thoughts, right? Then you have to apply your mind to the object. After a few seconds, after a few minutes, it will be okay. Sometimes you have too much calmness, you cannot maintain your concentration. Who is in efforts, it can happen like that. Then second question.
Second question, please explain how to arrange his schedule to practice meditation.
I don't know your condition, right? So, okay, mostly in the early morning, our mind is a little bit fresh. We can meditate. Sometimes in the evening or at night, if we are free, we can also meditate. It depends on your conditions and time available. Okay, so I cannot say how to arrange. You must know your own condition. You must have your own time management. Okay, next one.
The question, in the practice of anapanasati, sometimes he can see many small stars. After that, it disappeared quickly. So what should he do?
Actually, whatever thing you see, we don't recommend to follow all these kind of things. Not only the star or anything, like any kind of light, shape, form, also color, locations, right? If you think about it, it will change a lot or it will disappear. It's normal. So whatever thing you see or you feel, don't follow it. Just bring your mind back to the breath. It will be more practical. Okay?
In the morning, he said for 2 hours. Previously, Sayadaw saw the mind must tell the mind must remind the mind to know the breath. So today he has done that. and he has progressed.
Mhm.
At the same time, he will also, at the beginning of meditation, he tried to tell his own mind, 知道呼吸是 by knowing the breath is the best dana. When these thoughts, can he think in this way? He felt that by thinking in this way, he feel more delights in the breath.
By knowing the breath, what's the other the one part?
One part means by knowing the breath,
Okay.
it will be the best dana, best offering.
Dana.
Yeah, offerings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this way of thinking is that okay? Because if he think this way, he will feel he has more delights in the breath.
Okay. Okay. If you have this kind of idea, I should recommend a little bit. I should make some correction, right? I will do my kusala to I will offer my kusala to Buddha, right? That will be more meaningful, right? By practicing very well, I will offer, I will do puja to the Buddha. It will be more meaningful. You know, sometimes in our monastery, we also have some chanting, Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiya Buddham Bujemi, like that, right? Then you can understand this one. That means we just do some puja to the Buddha by practicing 3 trainings. Right? When you have this kind of thinking or this kind of recollection, it will be more meaningful. Okay? Next one.
When that means does all do all the Arya noble persons clearly know the Pachavakana mind after the Magga Viti? Or or after checking only they know they have this Pachavakana Viti?
Actually, this is Chitta Niyama, the law of mind, law of consciousness. So after birth and future knowledge, there will be reviewing knowledge. Maybe different types of reviewing, right? We have 5 types of reviewing: path, fruition, nibbana, also eradicated defilements or remaining defilements, like that. So for about defilements, sometimes they check, sometimes they may not check. We can say sometimes they review, sometimes they may not review. It depends. Okay, there will be reviewing knowledge after path and fruition knowledge. This is the natural law of Chitta. Okay.
Good morning, Sayadaw. Thank you for the talk. Yesterday, Sayadaw mentioned when the mind is easily shaken for ordinary people, even for Sotapanna and Sakadagami. Okay, in this case, when we are aware that our mind is easily shaken because of sensual pleasures, what is the skillful way to help ourselves to turn the mind to wholesomeness?
Okay, it depends on how strong that's the desire of sensual pleasure, right? Sometimes it's so strong, it's not very easy to overcome this one. So it depends on how frequently it arises also. For example, if you have one thought, very long time. For example, if you think about only one person all the time, there will be attachment. Whole day, whole night, if many days, it becomes strong attachment. Similarly, sensual pleasure, if we have the same enjoyment very long time, so when we have attachment to it very long time, very difficult to overcome it, right? So there are many ways to overcome. For example, think about Asubha meditations or practicing Asubha meditation. This is a very gross way. Another one is thinking about 32 body parts. This is also a little bit gross way, right? Then we can also think about 4 elements. Actually, there are many solutions. So another one is by reading the books. By reading the books, right? So some of the books were very interesting. By changing, different interests. When you are interested in something, you can neglect all other things. So there are many ways to overcome. Okay.
If all these like Asubha meditation, 32 parts, still cannot help.
This cannot help.
Yeah.
Okay. So it should be a little bit more in detail. Right? More in detail means, for example, head hair up to the root. Trying to see up to the roots, 30 body part. Trying to feel as repositives. The color, the shape, the smell. Or in Singapore, you may not experience bad smell in your hair, right? A long time if you don't wash your hair, bad smell, right? So trying to recall it, smell, the color, the shape, up to the roots. Then you may feel repositiveness more in detail. Okay?
More in detail.
Mm.
Thank you.
Bante, my question is concerning right view.
Mhm.
So right view has two levels, it's a mundane and supramundane level. So mundane level means that we have to accumulate the merits and understand karma and result. But supramundane, we have to let go all the views. Is that true? That means that even right view also have to be let go, or there's no attachment.
Okay.
Right view also view is an attachment object.
Okay.
Yeah. So can help us to.
Okay, one more thing, right? When we talk about right view in the mundane state, actually the one you say is Kama Sakata Jnana, because it's Kama Sakata Samadhi. This is a very basic right view. Okay? We have Vipassana Samadhi, the next level. So we believe in Kama and it's a result, right? This is Kama ownership. This is Kama Sakata Samadhi. This means for all the Buddhists should have this kind of basic right view. This is the one thing. So we have another mundane, the mundane samadhi. This is Vipassana. So we can know Four Noble Truths through Vipassana. This is called mundane right view. So when we can change Sotapanna or Sakara at the time, we can say supramundane right view. Okay? So one more thing. After attaining attachment, we're going to say right view or wrong view anymore, already finished. Right? So as you ask now, I also remember one simile, like the simile of the rabbit. When we are going to cross over a river, then also many of our enemies are following us. We have to run away. But we find a wide river, but there's no ferry boat. We have to cross over by ourselves. It's too wide, we're going to swim. We just collect bamboo and wood, make a route, cross over the river. So we are safe. After crossing over the river, we are safe, right? From that time on, we may not think, oh, that rap is very beneficial for me, very grateful for me. I should bring that rap wherever I go. We may not have that kind of idea, right? Similarly, after attaining attachment, we have to give up whether good or bad everything. That means we have to leave everything behind. We're going to carry into Prinivana. Okay? So that means, actually, Buddha recommends, please leave all the wholesome behind. So not only in the bad action, agusala. Okay, that means when we enter Nirvana, sure, we're not say give up, leave everything behind. We will not carry wrapped wherever we go. That means all the right view are only wrapped to cross over the river. It doesn't we have to carry everywhere. Okay? Okay, any other question?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Itawata amehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe saddha numodandu sabba sambati siriyam idam me nyatinam hodu sukhita hondu nyatayo idam me nyatinam hodu sukhita hondu nyatayo idam me nyatinam hodu Sukhita hondu nyatayo idhamme punyam asawakaya waham hodu idhamme punyam nibbanasa bhajayo hodu mama punya bhagam sabbasatanam bhajami te sabbe me samam Punya Bhagam Labandu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.